Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, 5 steps to gain recognition for your true value.
Big Success with the Professor and Mary-Lynn.
Do you feel valued at work? If not, guess what? You are not alone.
Yeah, man, we see so many statistics of people saying they aren't.
That's exactly right. Like the most recent study by Achievers, the 2021 Engagement and Retention Report, shows that over 1/3 of employees say they don't feel valued by their boss. Think about that. 1/3 don't feel valued by the boss.
Maybe that explains the Great Resignation.
You may very well be right, Mary-Lynn. Yeah. We're going to explore that idea today on this episode. Hi, I'm George the Professor.
And I'm Mary-Lynn. Would you like to gain recognition for your true value?
Yes.
Now, obviously, based on the statistic that you just read,
yeah,
there are some bosses and managers and business owners that have some work to do.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that, Mary-Lynn. Or should I say boss? Well, if you want to be known or if you want to get your true value, guess what? Then it starts by valuing yourself.
Right. So, I mean, we can't just put it all on the bosses as much as we want. There's a place where you can start with just you too. So we're going to pull out the professor's whiteboard for 5 steps to gain recognition by valuing yourself more.
I think I'm gaining recognition for having the world's most stuff-full closet, Mary-Lynn.
Week after week after week after week. What do we have to do?
I don't think there's less. I think there's more.
All right. Well, let's get to today's topic. So 5 steps to gain recognition by valuing yourself more. And step number 1 is to stop beating yourself up.
Boom, pow, pew, pow, kapow.
My goodness.
I'm beating myself up.
That's quite the fight over there. Goodness.
I think I won, or did I lose? I think I lost. Boy, it feels like I lost.
The big KO. Well, we all face times when things just don't go as planned, and we face life on life's terms. As much as we try to control life, it has a way of taking control.
It absolutely does.
It's easy in times like these when you're feeling down to beat yourself up. And to let yourself get down, to get discouraged.
Pow, pow, pew, yeah, do.
Yeah. But even worse, just not even fighting with yourself anymore, just giving up and feeling despair. Mm-hmm. And that's not a good place to be.
So here's the thing. Always remember this. You're a winner. Mm-hmm. You are a winner. So take away the lessons you need to learn. By the way, you know how we know that you're a winner? We know that because you're here.
Right.
And it's not all about big success. It's about the fact that you are continually learning. You're continually looking for a better life, to try to improve yourself, to try to improve your position. Most people don't do that.
Right. And also that you have that entrepreneurial mindset. And that entrepreneur mindset hangs on to hope.
Absolutely.
And looks for solutions, and you don't dwell on the problems.
Yeah. So the thing is, take away the lessons you need to learn from every single portion of your day, but accept that you're human. You can't perform at a superhuman level. So lick your wounds tonight, then get up in the morning and keep on pushing.
Absolutely. And don't let life get you down.
When we talk about keep pushing, it makes me think of the night we got engaged.
Right.
And for those of you who are familiar with music of another generation, the band
REO Speedwagon, they're still hot.
Yeah, and they're from our area originally.
Yes.
And
so we're in Champaign, Illinois, which is south of Chicago. And but they got their start here.
And I proposed to Mary-Lynn that night. Surprisingly, she said yes. And so anyway, we went.
But a friend of ours who owned a very popular drum shop in town, the band popped in. The band's drummer popped in, and he gave us. He was like the little birdie whispering in our ear. He said, "Hey, a couple of the band members are going to be playing at this establishment downtown."
Including Kevin Cronin, the lead singer for a long time, right? He became their established lead singer, and so he was one of them. And Mary-Lynn, you said to him, and
our friend introduced us to him when we got there. I mean, this was just a spectacular night. And so I just told him, oh my gosh, we just got engaged. And so we got congratulated by Kevin Cronin. And then he said, well, what can I play for you? And I Keep Pushing was the song that I said. And he was like, oh, well, that's a good one. It is a good one.
That's right.
And we had a song played for us that night.
And then I think they followed it
I know
up
it's
with...
not romantic. I mean,
not,
he's got Keep On Loving You. We got engaged.
We keep pushing.
And I'm like, keep pushing.
That's okay. Their second song was Roll With the Changes, and I love that one too.
Right.
And this was a big change we were talking about.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just had to share that little story because as we were talking about keep pushing, every time I hear the words keep pushing together, I always think of that night.
That is a good, happy memory. Okay, so now back to the subject here. We're talking about 5 steps to gain recognition by valuing yourself more. And so the second step is to acknowledge your progress.
Yeah, think about where you were this time last year, and now think about where you are now.
Sometimes it's hard to remember because a year it's just amazing how fast time flies, and a year is such a blur.
It is. It can be.
But when I think about big success and where we were last year with a project that we're working on that you will hear about soon, compared to where we are with it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, leaps and bounds.
Right. Absolutely.
And it was easy to beat ourselves up, and we did sometimes beat ourselves up last year because we weren't further along. But then we stopped doing that.
Yeah.
We said, look, there's only so much we can do. And, our coach kind of said, okay, well, let's put on a calendar what your goals are for where you want this project to land. And here we are on target, doing what we have to do. You know, it takes hard work day by day, step by step to get to where you want to be. And when you're far at the starting point and you really want to be at the finish line, you can't beat yourself up because you're not there yet. You've got to do the work to get there.
And I would add, Mary-Lynn, you got to find the energy, right? Because I remember sometimes you wake up and it's like, oh, man, I got to get this done today, and it's like I feel I don't have the energy for it. And you find ways of getting through that mind game that's going on.
Yeah, but that's how you acknowledge your progress, because you did it. You got through that day. You did what you had to do, and you have to acknowledge that you're doing what needs to be done.
Yeah, and that's absolutely the key here is we've got to, it's okay to look back. It's okay to look at the present. It's critical to look at the present. But the thing is, be grateful for how much you've accomplished and give yourself a pat on the back when you deserve it. I think stop and smell the roses for a second. Look at all you've accomplished when you look back a year.
Yeah.
And if you haven't accomplished everything you want, that's okay. What have you accomplished? Focus on that part of it as you move through these 5 steps.
So that brings us to step 3 in, being able to value yourself more. And that's stop comparing yourself to others. This is a big one. I've struggled with this throughout my life. When you see someone who has achieved more than you or has achieved the things that you're hoping to achieve, I mean, what do? I mean, obviously you celebrate that person, but you can't start looking at yourself and saying, oh, well, I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't done that yet. If you start doing that, I mean, that just puts you down into a negative spiral.
Yeah, and that is such an important point, Mary-Lynn. I think that if you see someone who's achieved something and you start feeling that jealousy, find a way to turn that jealousy into admiration. Find the lessons. Like, I think it's so important to always, let people have their success because you're going to have your own success.
I don't necessarily feel jealous of that person's success.
Okay.
What I have struggled with is beating myself up. So kind of going back to, step 1. Beating myself up because I haven't achieved that yet myself.
Right.
So it's not jealousy that person achieved that. It's me being disappointed in myself for not being further along.
Well, and I think, Mary-Lynn, every time, and for all of our listeners, every time you feel this, first of all, reread step number 2.
Right.
Which is acknowledge your progress.
Right.
And then the second thing is make sure you're not comparing your beginning to their middle. Like, you don't know where they started. You don't know what they had. You don't know what they've gone through in many cases because we tend to keep quiet about our downturns, and we keep, we spray it all over Twitter and Facebook and everything else when something goes well, right? So, just make sure that you're kind of on even footing and cut yourself some slack.
Right.
And then, you know what? keep pushing.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Woohoo! But like I said, I've struggled with that, but I've gotten much better. And my faith has definitely helped me with that. Because when you pull your value and your worth from God, because God values and loves all of us, well, you can't beat yourself up.
Right.
Because you are where you're supposed to be. And through faith, you're going to continue to fulfill your purpose. And so that's exciting.
It is.
And then you stop beating yourself up.
Right.
And you start comparing yourself. You're like, wow, that's incredible what that person's done. What does God have in store for me?
Yeah.
And that's a much different and much healthier attitude.
Absolutely.
So, okay. Moving on to step number 4 to gain recognition by valuing yourself more is to focus on your strengths. Stop worrying about your weaknesses. Focus on what you do well.
Clank, 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 clank. I'm focusing on my strengths,
people
Mary-Lynn.
don't see you doing the movement.
Know they don't. I'm lifting a barbell.
Yes.
Yes.
And George is in the fitness center right now.
The clanking is the setting down of the bench, the bench press barbell.
Right.
So anyway, the point is, I was just trying to give you a visual. But yes, thanks for reminding me that this is audio. So
you're focusing on your strength and not your weakness.
Precisely. Thank you very much. I am our sound effect library today, apparently.
You are doing a great job.
Well, here's just a couple questions to ask yourself as you focus on your strengths. What's easy for you to do? It's such an easy question to ask, right? What's easy for you to do? Here's the thing. That's going to be a hard question to answer for most people. Most people who are humble are going to struggle a little bit answering that question. So here's something. What do others turn to you for? That's a good question, because the thing is, this is going to help you start to value your strengths, because you're going to find things that other people aren't good at that you are good at. And that's going to help you buck up your true value in your own mind.
Well, and I like that question. What do others turn to you for? Because that makes you go, oh, that's how I help and provide value to other people.
Precisely.
Yep. That's a great question.
Yeah. That's your value point.
All right. So value your strengths. And now step 5 is you need to promote yourself.
What?
As valuable as you are, you're not going to go very far if nobody knows it. So you have to be willing to tell people what you're doing.
Yeah. And I like to think of it this way, Mary-Lynn. Humility and self-marketing are not mutually exclusive.
But there is a thin line.
Well, I think the thing is, you don't want to be braggadocious, but if
what a word.
Thank you, braggadocious.
Yes.
I pulled that one out of somewhere. I don't know what year of the dictionary.
It totally gets the point across.
Well, and the point is that you can't come across that way, because that means there's a problem. Humility is important. We all are attracted to people who are humble. When I say that, I mean know, like, trust, right? The like and trust factor improve as we are humble. But we also have to tell people what's up in our life. And there's nothing wrong with telling people the facts of what you've accomplished, or what happened, or you got this award, or you made this sale, or whatever. There's nothing wrong with sharing that with people. Share your excitement, share your enthusiasm. It makes them more enthusiastic.
Right.
Well, so when you accomplish something, just share the good news. That's what we're trying to say here. Just share the good news. That's not going to come across as braggadocious. It's going to encourage others, and you're going to gain recognition for yourself.
Win-win.
Absolutely.
So let's review our 5 steps to gain recognition by valuing yourself more. Step 1, stop beating yourself up. That isn't going to help. Step 2, acknowledge your progress. Step 3, stop comparing yourself to others. Step 4, focus on your strengths. Can I get a clank?
Clank, clank, clank.
All right.
You're getting quite a workout in, Mary-Lynn.
And step 5, promote yourself.
Other people will value you more when you value yourself more. Isn't that interesting? Other people will value you more when you value yourself more. Recognize your true value for your big success.
You'll feel more value when you're living your purpose. Do you know what your purpose is? Are you searching? Take our free life purpose quiz. It'll help. Find it at Big Success. That's big with 2 G's, success.com.
We thank you so much for listening today. Big shout out to all of our listeners in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Big salute.
There's a trendy financial strategy called cash stuffing.
Cash stuffing?
Yeah, they're talking about it all over on TikTok. Well, we're going to share more about what that is, and more importantly, discuss if you should do it. That's our next show. We hope you'll join us. Until then,
here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.